The Galactic Assembly Hall was silent as the doors slid open. Every species from the farthest corners of the galaxy turned their heads when the humans entered. Their boots clicked on the polished silver floor, their eyes scanning the room with confidence and curiosity. The delegation of Earth was new to this interstellar council, but already whispers had begun spreading through the chambers of the known universe. They called them the Unpredictables. Commander Elias Grant led the human team. Tall, broad-shouldered, and calm under pressure, he was a man of quiet intensity. His team included Dr. Lyra Chen, a biologist and cultural liaison, and Sergeant Nolan Briggs, a soldier who seemed more interested in the buffet table than the galactic politics around him. At the far end of the hall sat the Thrixian queen, Valera Ix, ruler of one of the most ancient and powerful empires. Her form was elegant, insectoid in structure, but regal in posture, her multifaceted eyes shimmering under the hall's crystal lights. She had ruled for over 2 centuries and had seen countless species rise and fall. But when humans arrived, she felt something different, curiosity mixed with unease. When the meeting began, humans were placed beside the Thrixian Empire's delegation. The Queen's eyes kept shifting toward the humans, studying every move, every expression. She had heard rumors, impossible rumors, that humans had unmatched resilience, strange emotions, and unusual biological traits. As diplomatic speeches continued, Elias noticed the Queen's gaze. When their eyes met, he gave a polite nod. The Queen tilted her head. "You are the one they call Commander Grant of Terra." "Yes, Your Majesty," Elias replied. His tone was respectful, but his posture remained confident. "We're honored to stand among the galaxy's finest." Her antennae twitched slightly. "Your species is
young.
Yet your influence grows fast. Some call it admirable. Others, reckless." Elias smiled faintly. "We prefer the term ambitious." There was a pause, the kind of silence that held weight. Even the ambient hum of the hall seemed to fade. Then, as the formal discussions shifted to biology exchange, an event where species shared harmless genetic and cultural information, the Queen requested a private audience with the human delegation. The meeting took place in her personal chamber, a vast room filled with glowing crystals and warm blue mist. The humans entered cautiously. The Queen sat upon her throne, her form towering and majestic. With 2 of her royal guards standing silent, Dr. Chen bowed lightly. "We are honored to meet Your Majesty in private." The Queen's eyes locked onto her. "Your kind fascinates me, Doctor. I have studied the life cycles of over 400 sentient races, yet none are as inconsistent as yours." "Inconsistent?" Sergeant Briggs chuckled. "We call that adaptable, ma'am." "Adaptable," she repeated, testing the word as if it were a new taste. She extended one slender arm, and a holographic chart appeared, showing biological data that had been gathered from human research samples. Your species can survive in freezing tundra, volcanic heat, deep ocean pressure, and even the vacuum of space for short durations with mechanical aid. You eat both plants and animals, drink poison-level liquids like caffeine and alcohol, and remain functional. You regenerate from injuries that would be fatal to others. Her voice trembled slightly. And yet you multiply faster than most species can recover from war. Elias exchanged a small smile with Dr. Chen. Humans do what's needed to survive. "Your Majesty," Queen leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "And this," she pointed a claw toward the hologram's biological data you can reproduce. "Year-round?" The humans blinked, a bit caught off guard. Dr. Chen cleared her throat. "Yes, that's biologically true. Humans don't have fixed mating seasons." The Queen's antennae stiffened. "No restrictions? No biological cycle dictating when you must breed?" Elias tried not to laugh. We're flexible, let's say that." The Queen's wings fluttered in visible shock. "Impossible. Every intelligent species in the galaxy requires balance. Breeding cycles maintain stability. Without them, chaos would reign." Sergeant Briggs, completely unfazed, grinned. "Maybe that's why we're good at chaos." The queen looked from one human to another, her expression unreadable. You mean to tell me? Your species is capable of emotional bonding and physical reproduction. At any time? Dr. Chen nodded carefully. That's correct. It's tied more to emotion, connection, and choice than biology. Valera was silent for a long moment. The room seemed to hold its breath. Then, in a tone of utter disbelief, she gasped. Humans? You can mate year-round. The words echoed in the chamber. Even her guards shifted awkwardly, exchanging glances. Elias pressed a hand to his forehead, trying not to laugh. Briggs looked like he was about to burst out laughing, but managed to hold it in. Dr. Chen simply sighed. Yes, Your Majesty. It's normal for us. The queen stood slowly, her long limbs unfolding. No wonder your species expands across the stars so quickly. You are unstoppable, emotionally unstable, biologically relentless, and utterly unpredictable. Elias took that as a compliment. We prefer resilient, Your Majesty. The queen's tone softened, curiosity mixing with a strange kind of admiration. Resilient, she repeated. Perhaps that is why the galaxy fears you, and why I find you fascinating. Later that night, the human team returned to their quarters aboard the galactic station. Briggs finally laughed out loud. Did you see her face? Like she'd just discovered a black hole in her living room. Dr. Chen groaned. Congratulations, Sergeant. You may have just started an intergalactic meme. Elias leaned back on his chair, looking out the viewport at the glowing nebula beyond. Maybe it's good that they're learning who we really are. The galaxy needs to know humans don't follow anyone's rules but their own. Yeah, Briggs said proudly. We don't wait for the season, we make it. They all laughed, and the tension of the day melted into warmth. But Elias's expression grew thoughtful as he gazed into the stars. He knew what the queen didn't yet understand. Humanity's adaptability wasn't just about biology. It was about spirit. The same drive that made them survive through war, famine, and extinction-level threats was the same force that pushed them beyond their home world. Somewhere deep in her palace, the alien queen looked out over her empire, still replaying the conversation in her mind. She felt a strange chill, a realization that humans were not simply another species in the galactic crowd. They were something else, something the universe hadn't prepared for. For the first time in her long reign, Queen Valera Ix felt uncertainty. She whispered to herself, almost reverently. Queen Valera Ix could not sleep that night. Her chamber was silent except for the gentle hum of the palace's life support systems and the glowing light of the nebula outside her window. Yet her mind was restless, filled with questions about humanity. She sat upon her crystal throne, surrounded by holographic displays showing every piece of information collected about Earth. Climate data, biological reports, history, and cultural transmissions, all spinning in the air before her. Her royal advisor, Prime Scholar Exer, entered quietly. Your Majesty, he said, bowing. You requested the human data archives? Yes, she replied, her voice calm but curious. The humans intrigue me, Exer. I have seen many species rise and fall, but none so unpredictable. Exer tilted his head, his chitinous shell glimmering. Unpredictable, perhaps, but also reckless. Their world was once dying from their own pollution. Their wars nearly ended them. And yet, they survived. That is what interests me, the queen said, eyes focused on the glowing blue sphere of Earth in the hologram. Most species learn through harmony. They seem to learn through destruction. Exer clicked softly. It is their chaos that drives them. Dangerous, Your Majesty. The queen's wings fluttered lightly. Or powerful. Chaos, if controlled, can create as well as destroy. She waved her hand, and a new image appeared: Commander Elias Grant and his team. Their faces were displayed in high detail, pulled from station cameras. These three, she said softly, they represent their world. I want to understand them more. Arrange for them to visit my research palace tomorrow.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Exer bowed and departed, though he looked uneasy. The next day, Commander Elias Grant received the invitation with surprise. A royal visit? He said, raising an eyebrow. That's unusual. Dr. Lyra Chen smiled. She's clearly fascinated. Maybe she wants to discuss science again. Sergeant Briggs grinned. Or she just wants to ask more about that whole year-round mating thing. Briggs, Elias warned, though he was fighting a smile. Let's try to keep it diplomatic. The three humans were escorted to the Thrixian Palace of Knowledge, a massive structure carved from living crystal. The corridors shimmered with blue light and humming energy fields. The walls themselves seemed alive, glowing faintly as they walked past. When they reached the central chamber, the queen awaited them tall, regal, and composed. Welcome again, humans, she said. I hope your rest was ... sufficient. Very much, Your Majesty, Elias said with a polite bow. Your station is beautiful. Beauty, she replied, is the result of order. And yet, I sense you humans find beauty in disorder. Elias smiled faintly. Sometimes the best things in life are the ones we don't plan. The queen's eyes narrowed in thought. That explains much. A cultural exchange the queen led them through her Hall of Species, where hundreds of holographic displays showed different intelligent races across the galaxy, each with their biological and cultural summaries. You see? The seasons of birth, the cycles of emotion, the patterns of existence. But your kind defies rhythm. You act as if time itself is your servant.
Actor.
Chen nodded. Humans adapt fast. Sometimes too fast. But it's what helped us survive. The queen turned to her. Your people survived not by balance but by struggle. You advance by conflict. That's not wrong, Elias admitted. But we also learn through unity. We fight, we argue, but we always find a way forward. The queen's antennae twitched, a gesture of deep thought. Remarkable. And yet how do you prevent collapse when your passions burn so fiercely? Sergeant Briggs shrugged. We don't always prevent it. Sometimes we crash hard, but we get up again. For the first time, the queen's mandibles curved upward, a Thrixian sign of amusement. You fall, and you rise again. Endlessly, like a virus that refuses to die. Dr. Chen laughed softly. We prefer the term resilient, Your Majesty. Resilient. The queen repeated again, as if tasting the word. Yes. I begin to see why the galaxy fears you. An unexpected test, the queen led them to a great observatory, where a shimmering simulation field hovered above the floor. This is a Thrixian mind field, she explained. It projects real-time scenarios based on chosen variables. I wish to observe your instincts in crisis. Elias frowned slightly. A test. An experiment, she corrected. No harm will come to you. The humans exchanged quick looks, then nodded. The queen gestured, and the simulation began. The room around them shifted into a burning, alien landscape, a colony under attack by robotic drones. Explosions thundered, smoke filled the air, and the sound of terrified civilians echoed. Dr. Chen gasped. It feels so real. It is real to the senses, the queen said calmly, from outside the field. Now, what will you do, humans? Without hesitation, Elias shouted orders. Briggs, cover fire on the left ridge. Chen, help get those people to safety. The humans moved with practiced teamwork. Briggs grabbed a fallen energy weapon, blasting drone after drone while shielding fleeing civilians. Dr. Chen pulled an injured alien to cover, using her medkit to stabilize its vitals. Elias coordinated the group, shouting clear directions, always calm, always focused. Within minutes, the drones were destroyed, the civilians safe. The simulation faded. The humans stood panting slightly, sweat on their brows. The queen was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke, her tone softer, almost reverent. Incredible. Your instincts are not of survival alone, but of protection. Even under illusion, your minds move to save others before yourselves. Elias shrugged lightly. That's what makes us human. Valera's eyes glimmered. And dangerous. The queen's realization later, in her private chamber, Queen Valera replayed the footage of the simulation. She watched frame by frame Melias's leadership, Chen's compassion, Griggs's courage, self-sacrifice, she whispered. A trait common in primitive species. Yet humans have made it their strength. Her advisor, Exer, entered quietly. Your Majesty, you seem... disturbed? Disturbed? She mused. No, enlightened. Humanity's strength is not just in their bodies or their strange biology. It is in their spirit. Sir looked doubtful. Spirit cannot conquer the galaxy. The Queen turned her gaze toward him. And yet, they already have begun. She waved her claw, showing maps of human colonies spreading like sparks across the galactic sectors. In less than 2 centuries, they've reached worlds that took us millennia to settle. Their unity is chaotic, their methods unpredictable, yet their results... undeniable. Ixer hesitated. Do you intend to ally with them, Your Majesty? The Queen smiled faintly. No, not yet. First, I will understand them completely. A moment of connection that evening, Elias and his team were invited to dine in the royal garden, a rare honor. The garden glowed with bioluminescent plants, each leaf shimmering like liquid light. The Queen joined them, her massive form surprisingly graceful among the glowing trees. You humans, she said, carry laughter even after hardship. Is it your way to hide fear? Elias shook his head. No, it's how we overcome it. Briggs raised his cup. Laughter's our secret weapon, Your Majesty. The Queen tilted her head. Strange creatures. You bleed, you fear, you fail. And yet you smile. Dr. Chen smiled warmly. Because every day we live, even a hard one, is still a victory. For a brief moment, silence filled the garden, not awkward, but peaceful. The Queen looked at the stars above and spoke quietly, almost to herself. Perhaps there is more to your kind than even the galaxy understands. The palace was trembling. Sirens wailed through the glowing corridors as the Thrixian capital came under sudden attack. The sky outside burned red with plasma fire, and the energy shields of the royal city flickered under the assault. Queen Valera Ix stood on her balcony. Watching dark shapes descend from orbit, ships belonging to the Vorn Dominion, a warlike race that had long waited for a chance to strike. Her advisor Exer rushed in. Your Majesty, the Dominion fleet bypassed our border defenses. The royal army is scattered. We are losing communication with our outer colonies. The Queen's eyes burned with fury. Mobilize every defense drone. Prepare the planetary shield. Already done, Your Majesty, Exer said, trembling, but their numbers are overwhelming. The Queen clenched her claws. Her empire had not faced war in over 100 years. The Thrixians were builders and scientists, not soldiers. And then a voice came through the palace. Comes. Queen Valera, this is Commander Elias Grant of the Terran delegation. We're seeing the attack from orbit. We're coming to help. Queen turned sharply. This is not your battle, human. Maybe not, Elias replied, his voice steady. But we don't watch friends burn while we stand safe. Before the Queen could respond, the comms cut out, the human response within minutes. The human frigate Horizon descended through the planet's atmosphere, engines roaring, cutting through fire and debris. Its hull glowed from re-entry, and behind it followed a squadron of human fighters. Inside the frigate, Sergeant Briggs strapped into the dropship. We're landing near the palace, he said. Get ready for the fireworks. Dr. Lyra Chen secured her med pack. Let's just make sure the fireworks don't kill us. Commander Elias Grant checked his rifle.com as ever. Remember, protect the Queen at all costs. The dropship tore through the smoke and landed hard near the palace steps. The air was filled with heat, dust, and the sharp sound of energy weapons. Briggs charged out first, covering the entrance. Welcome parties here. Vorn soldiers, dark-armored, insectoid predators turned toward the humans. They hissed, raising their plasma rifles. Elias shouted, engage. The humans moved with perfect coordination. Plasma bolts cracked the air, explosions rocked the steps. But the humans pressed forward, using cover, returning fire with precision. Their movement was sharp, fast, and fearless. To the Thrixian guards watching from behind the palace gates, it looked like madness. 3 humans charging into an army 10 times their size. But it worked. Within minutes, the attackers near the gate were down, their bodies scattered among the cracked marble floor. The humans stood tall, their armor scorched, but spirits unbroken. The Queen's decision inside the palace. Queen Valera stared at the live feed in shock. "There are only 3, she whispered. 3. Against hundreds." Sir trembled. "Your Majesty, the humans are insane." "No," she said softly. "They are human." When the humans burst into the throne room, she turned toward them. Ilias's face was streaked with smoke and dust. "Your Majesty, we need to evacuate you now." The Queen straightened her posture, her wings rising. "I will not abandon my people." Ilias's jaw tightened. "Then we'll stand with you," Sir protested. "Commander, you cannot defend a planet with 3 soldiers." Elias turned to him. "We won't need to. Just buy time until your shield generators reset. Give us coordinates, and we'll hold the line." Valera stared at him, studying his eyes. They held no fear, no hesitation, only determination. Finally, she said, "Very well. You have your time, human." The battle for the palace outside, the enemy forces regrouped. Dozens of Vorn ships descended from the clouds, firing plasma rounds that shook the palace walls. Ilias took command of the defense, directing both humans and Thrixian guards. "Hold formation. Focus fire on their landing points." Briggs laughed as he fired the heavy turret. "I love working vacations." Dr. Chen moved between the wounded, her med gloves glowing as she patched up soldiers of both species. "You'll live," she told one Thrixian warrior. "Now get back out there." The Queen watched from above, her multiple eyes wide as she saw human bravery unfold before her. They fought like creatures born for chaos, but guided by purpose. Every time one fell, another rose to take his place, and through it all, they smiled. Elias moved to the front gate where the fighting was thickest. His voice thundered over Combs. "You wanted to see what humans are made of, Your Majesty?" Valera's voice came back through the link, soft but steady. "I see it now, Commander." A massive explosion rocked the courtyard as a Vorn tank broke through the wall. Elias shouted, "Briggs, on the right!" Briggs ran straight at the tank, firing as he dove behind debris. The blast from his launcher hit the tank's power core, sending fire into the sky. He rolled, laughed, and yelled, "That's how humans say hello." Dr. Chen groaned through, "Comes, you're insane." Elias smiled faintly. "No, he's human." The turning point, the battle dragged on for hours. The human ship in orbit sent bombardment fire to clear the skies. The Thrixian guards, inspired by the humans' courage, fought harder than ever before. Inside the palace control room, Queen Valera finally saw the generator status flash green. "Shields restored." Exar cried out. The Queen activated the defense matrix herself. A beam of light burst upward from the palace, spreading like a dome over the capital. Enemy ships slammed into the barrier and exploded in brilliant flashes. The Vorn fleet began to retreat, broken and leaderless. The Queen exhaled deeply, her heart pounding. "We are safe," she whispered. "Because of them?" Aftermath. When the dust settled, the humans stood on the palace balcony, looking out over the quiet city. Smoke rose in the distance, but the worst was over. Queen Valera approached them slowly. Her armor was cracked, her once perfect posture slightly weary, yet her eyes were bright, filled with respect. "Commander Elias," she said softly, "you have saved my people. You have my gratitude." Elias shook his head. "We didn't do it alone. Your soldiers fought well. But it was you who led them," the Queen insisted. "You're kind. You fight with madness and courage. You risk everything for others. I do not understand it." Dr. Chen smiled. "You don't have to understand it, Your Majesty. You just have to know it's who we are." The Queen studied the 3 of them carefully. "Your species defies reason. You survive through chaos, create through conflict, and love through pain. Even your ability to reproduce year-round," she said, her voice tinged with amusement, "is now a symbol of your endless drive to live." "So you're saying our biology's a superpower?" The Queen laughed, a deep, musical sound that made even the guards stare in shock. "Perhaps it is." The Queen's revelation that night, the palace glowed with calm light once more. The Queen stood at her balcony, watching Earth's delegation prepare to leave for orbit. She spoke softly to her advisor. Exer, I once thought chaos was a weakness. I see now it is the seed of strength. The humans are not to be feared. They are to be learned from. Sir bowed. Shall I record this discovery, Your Majesty? Yes, she said. Call it the human paradox. The more unstable they seem, the stronger they become. As the human ship rose into the sky, she whispered quietly, humans ... You can mate year-round, you fight without logic, and yet, you build hope where none should exist. Her eyes softened. Perhaps it is time the galaxy learned to be a little more human. In the Galactic Assembly Hall, the Queen made a surprising declaration. I, Valera Ix of the Thrixian Empire, propose a new alliance, not based on fear, but on learning. Humanity shall not be treated as an anomaly, but as an inspiration. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Commander Elias stood in the crowd, smiling faintly. He turned to his team. Told you they'd come around? Dr. Chen chuckled. You think she'll ever stop being amazed by us? Briggs laughed. Not a chance. Wait till she learns about human coffee. As the laughter echoed across the hall, the galaxy began to see humanity not as a young, reckless species, but as a force of nature, a race that could fight, love, laugh, and rebuild any time. Anywhere, because for humans, every day was a new season.